Ainara, and I love digging into a good book. So let's read, learn, and grow together, one diverse character at a time. Welcome to Ainara's Bookshelf.
I'm in the mood for a mythology book today. Maybe folklore, maybe one with cool animals, family, and by an Indigenous author. This one is perfect! This is The Barren Grounds by David A. Robertson, the first book in the Missawa saga. There's 2 more currently out in the series, with a 4th on the way. It's a modern adaptation of the Indigenous legend of the Fisher constellation, more commonly known as the Big Dipper, and it's filled with cool talking animals and messages of family. This story follows young Morgan and Eli, 2 Indigenous children in the foster care system. Morgan has been in the foster care system for most of her life, while Eli only recently joined foster care, but they both ended up in the same foster home. They aren't close at all and have problems fitting in at school, until one day they discover something amazing. In their attic, they unlock a portal to another world called Aski, covered in snow and ice. In Aski, they meet a few talking animals. One of them is a fisher named Ochak. Ochak takes them on a journey to save Aski from an eternal winter, and along the way, they learn more about their Indigenous culture, themselves, and each other. This is such an action-packed and important book. Morgan and Eli are 2 very relatable and real characters that go through 2 different but meaningful journeys that taught me a lot. They both have trouble feeling like they fit in at school, a feeling I know a lot of us can relate to. They're both in foster care, a subject I don't have personal experience with, but could empathize with. And I really wanted to learn and try to understand Morgan and Eli's perspectives. The author did a great job in helping me understand the impact the foster care system can have on a kid and their connection to their culture. The mythology in this story was fantastic. Fun fact about me, I'm a huge mythology nerd, and I love learning about different kinds of mythology and folklore. This culture was new to me, and I loved everything about it. From the divine creatures to the meaning behind the stars, I had so much fun researching more legends from this folklore after reading Barren Grounds. I think the story will really touch you and teach you. I know it definitely had that effect on me. I'd recommend it for ages 9 and up. The man behind this book is David A. Robertson, and he's one of my favorite Canadian authors. He's Swampy Cree. The Cree are a Northern American Indigenous people living in the vast area of central Canada. And he's published more than 20 books, including a children's book called When We Were Alone, which holds a very special place in my heart. He has numerous achievements, and I've had the pleasure of speaking with him before. He lives in... Did you hear that? There it is again. Let's go check it out. Whoa. Never been up here before.
Hey.
Hi! It's so nice meeting you.
Yes, nice to see you.
What are you doing out here?
Take a look.
Whoa, that's so cool.
It is cool, right?
Well, I mean, here we are under the beautiful night sky and stars. What role do the stars play throughout the Missawa saga?
I don't think the Missawa saga would even be there without them. It's about constellations. It's about the Cree constellations that I learned from elders and from my dad, and they're all about how the things came to be and how things got up there. I just love them so much, so that I shaped them into books, and then out came the series.
The Barren Grounds is based on the Fisher constellation. Are there other constellations that match up with the Great Bear and the Stone Child?
Yeah, every single book in the series is based off a constellation story. So Barren Grounds is the Fisher Star constellation. The Great Bear is Mistamaskwa in Cree, which means big bear, great bear. The Stone Child is based off the Sweat Lodge constellation, explains how the Sweat Lodge came to be. And then the next 3 books in the series are also all there because of the stars.
The stars and the constellations also link in with Indigenous mythology, right?
Yep. Yeah, a big part of it. Yeah, we have a lot of stories, a lot of creation stories, how people came to be, how the world came to be, and the stars and the stories behind them are a big part of our mythology across all the Indigenous cultures in Canada.
Why was it important to you to share those beautiful stories?
Well, I felt like for me, it was a way to, we've always been an oral culture. We pass down stories orally from generation to generation. Writing the series for me was a way to document those stories to make sure that we never lose them, because they teach a lot of important values. They have a lot of important messages in them. And they're just like fun, beautiful stories to learn and to read.
All right, well, now I kind of wanted to talk about our 2 main kids in this book, Morgan and Eli. So for Morgan, she's older than Eli, but she's been in foster care longer, and she's not as connected to her Indigenous culture. While Eli, on the other hand, although he is younger, he grew up in the Indigenous culture. And I think throughout the Barren Grounds and throughout the Mississauga, Eli helps Morgan to feel more connected to her roots. Why do you feel the importance to contrast being connected versus not being connected to your heritage?
Well, I think it was important because it kind of shows what kids go through in systems like that. So Morgan grew up without her culture, and I did too. And so she, throughout the course of the series, learns more and more about it. And I liked how on Earth, Morgan's kind of like a mentor to Eli, because she has that experience of going through the system. But then when they get to the other world, Eli becomes kind of a mentor to Morgan, and he teaches her a lot about the language and the culture, and as do the animals who live there. So I thought it was important just to have those 2 points of view. The confidence that Eli feels on the land because he grew up that way, and then what Morgan was missing, and then the confidence that she gains by reclaiming her culture.
Did you write the story for Indigenous kids like Morgan in foster care who might be dealing with that same, self-conflict or self-identity conflict?
Yeah, absolutely. I wrote it for kids who are in care who have never had a hero that they could relate to like so closely. I've heard from so many kids in care who are Indigenous who have read the Barren Grounds or the Great Bear or the Stone Child, and they have felt so empowered by reading a character like Morgan and Eli. But I also wrote it for kids who haven't been in care so that they know what's going on in Canada, and they know that kids go through this, and they can learn a lot more about that system and the history and what's going on now. And as much as I want people to have fun reading the book and enjoy the journey, it's also an opportunity to learn some important things about this country.
And okay, one more question before we go. What's one thing, if you had to choose one thing that you want all kids to take away from reading the Barren Grounds and the Mississauga, what would it be?
For me, it was always about the land. We only have one Earth, and we don't take care of it very well, and we need to do better. And I really think that kids are going to be the ones who are going to do better for us. And you're a good example of that. So that's what I want the takeaway to be from this book, and the whole series, is kids reading it and just say, let's change the world now.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love that. Well, thank you so much again for talking to me today. This was awesome.
Thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
Well, I guess I'll just...
That's that way, the portal you came in. But just make sure, you close the portal after you leave.
Yeah, got it.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
You've gotta love a portal that travels through space and time. I know I do. Here are 5 more great books that feature traveling through space and time. Kingston and the Magician's Lost and Found by Rucker Moses. The Last Mirror on the Left by Lamar Giles. Rhea and the Blood of the Nectar by Payal Doshi. Tristan Strong Punches a Hole in the Sky by Kwame Mabalia. And Amulet, the Stonekeeper by Kazu Kibuishi. So if you don't have your own personal portal in your attic like I do, you can always escape into one of these books and experience adventure through another character's eyes. Can't wait to share more amazing books with you next time on Ainara's Bookshelf.